Kami Fairbairn wants 1 point back. Austin Seibert wants 2 points back. And the Chicago Bears? They want the last month of their lives back. After a whirlwind of wild finishes on Sunday, the NFL playoff picture is starting to take shape. The cream is rising to the top. Kansas City and Detroit are the league's first teams to hit 10 wins, while some contenders, like Chicago and San Francisco, are fading faster than your hopes for a good season. Kickers are turning into the punchlines of the league, costing their teams crucial points. Meanwhile, Saquon Barkley is making a strong case for MVP, and there might just be a new frontrunner for next spring's No. 1 draft pick. The early slate of games on Sunday was all about those nail-biting finishes. For a moment, it looked like Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders were about to pull off another last-second miracle. This time at home against the Cowboys, after the rookie quarterback connected with Terry McLaurin for an 86-yard touchdown with just 21 seconds left, cutting Dallas' lead to 1. But then Seibert, who had already missed an extra point earlier, decided to miss another one. Juanya Thomas took the ensuing onside kick to the house, sealing the Cowboys' first win since October 6th. "I don't plan on tanking," edge rusher Micah Parsons said after the Cowboys' 3-4 2-6. The victory improved them to 4-7. If the higher-ups are looking for a draft pick, I hope that's ruined because we've got a lot of football left to play. "As long as I'm a part of this team, we're always going to fight." Washington, once sitting pretty at 7-2, has now dropped 3 straight and is clinging to the 7th and final playoff spot in the NFC. Meanwhile, the Bears, who earlier this season shocked the Commanders with a Hail Mary, nearly pulled off their own wild comeback against the Vikings at home, scoring 11 points in the final 22 seconds of regulation, successful onside kick included, to send the game into overtime. But Minnesota escaped after John Parker Romo nailed a 31-yard field goal in the extra session, clinching the Vikings' 4th win in a row and continuing Chicago's misery. Once a play away from a 5-2 start, the Bears have now lost 5 straight and sit at 4-7. In Houston, Fairbairn set an NFL record with his 12th field goal made from 50 yards or more this season, then promptly missed a 28-yard field goal, shorter than an extra point. With under 2 minutes left, that would have tied the Texans-Titans game. Instead, Tennessee pulled off the upset. 32-27. Houston, 7-5, has lost 4 of 6, but still leads the dismal AFC South. The Colts, the only division rival with a chance of catching the Texans, dropped their 4th game in 5 weeks after getting steamrolled by the Lions, 24-6. In his 2nd game back after a midseason benching, Anthony Richardson didn't get much help from a banged-up offensive line or running back Jonathan Taylor, who managed just 35 yards on 11 carries. Houston's lead in the division is essentially 3 games after sweeping the season series with Indianapolis, 5-7. How well are the Lions playing? In a 4-game sweep of the AFC South this season, Detroit outscored those teams by a whopping 105 points. The Lions have won 9 straight for the first time since 1934. On Sunday, Jahmyr Gibbs ran for 2 touchdowns, and David Montgomery added another. They're the first pair of running backs in NFL history to each have 10 rushing touchdowns in consecutive seasons. In Charlotte, Bryce Young showed some progress, leading the Panthers on a game-tying drive in the 4th quarter against the 2-time defending champion Chiefs. The problem? As many around the league have already discovered, he left Patrick Mahomes way too much time. 7 plays, 57 yards, and 146 later. Kansas City had a 30-27 victory, thanks to a 31-yard field goal from Spencer Schrader. In Miami, the Dolphins stayed hot, winning their 3rd straight after routing the Patriots. 34-15, suddenly a team that was all but out of the NFC playoff race just a few weeks ago. The Dolphins were 2-6, is back in the conversation, with a big showdown looming on Thanksgiving night in Green Bay. As for the chatter that the warm-weather Dolphins can't win the cold, quarterback Tua Tagovailoa isn't shying away from the challenge ahead. "I'm excited to kill narratives," he said. "Let's go. Bring it on." In Las Vegas, Eagles running back Saquon Barkley has been nothing short of a football superhero this season, and his jaw-dropping performance in Sunday night's 37-20 victory over the Rams was just the latest proof. He racked up a mind-blowing 255 rushing yards, the ninth most in a single game in NFL history, and a staggering 302 all-purpose yards, including 2 touchdowns that were longer than most people's commutes. Since September, he's been as unstoppable as a kid in a candy store. It's been 12 long years since Adrian Peterson of the Vikings snagged the MVP award back in 2012, the last time a non-QB got to take home the trophy. But guess what? Barkley is making a strong case to end that quarterback monopoly, and his argument gets more convincing every week. He's the shining star on one of the league's top teams, playing a crucial role in the Eagles' impressive 9-2 start. Who else has been more vital to their team? Barkley has already topped 150 all-purpose yards 6 times this season, and guess what? All 6 of those games ended in Philadelphia victories. His 255 rushing yards on Sunday also set a record for the most by any player in the Eagles' 92-year history. Talk about making history. Now, as for the MVP competition, Barkley's biggest challengers are Baltimore's Lamar Jackson, a 2-time MVP, Detroit's Jared Goff, and Buffalo's Josh Allen, who's also leading the Bills to a 9-2 start. But let's be real, can they really compete with Barkley's superhero stats?